Hello students. So in this class we will start our next unit, that is again from the paper 2 only and group theory 3. See, already you studied group theory 1 and 2 in the third semester, and I think you studied definition of group, what is mean by subgroup, some examples of that, and I think cyclic group, abelian group. You all studied these basic things in the group theory 1 and 2, and coset, right coset, left coset. Okay, so when we say the, or what is the definition of group, if you say if G is any non-empty set, star be any operation, then we can say G star together. First it is an algebraic structure, and we say this algebraic structure is an group if it satisfies some condition, that is 4 condition. First is closure law, second is associative law, third is identity law, and fourth is inverse law. If it satisfy all the law, if these binary operations satisfy all the law, then we can call this G star together is the group. Okay, now when we say it is an abelian group, if it satisfy together with this all the 4 laws, if we satisfy commutative law also, then we can say G star is an abelian group. Okay, and you know what is closure law. If you are taking any 2 elements from A, B belongs to G, then we want A star B also belongs to G. Okay, and if you are taking any 3 elements, then we want A star B star C should be equal to, in the first bracket, A star B bracket complete star C. That is nothing but associative law. What is identity? If you are taking any element from this, then we want A star E should be equal to A. If it satisfies this condition, then we can say E is the identity element. Okay. Now what is inverse? For each and every element belongs to G, if A star A inverse is equal to E, then we can say A inverse is the inverse of E. Okay. And commutative is, if you are taking any 2 elements, then we want A star B is equal to what? B star E. If it satisfies this property, then we can call G star together is the group. Okay. Now, with respect to identity element, suppose if you are having binary operation plus, then always you will get 0 is the identity element. Okay. And if you are having binary operation is the multiplication, you will get 1 is the identity element. With respect to addition 0, with respect to multiplication 1. Okay. So that is the definition of group. Now what is subgroup? If you see H is a subset of G. If H is a subset of G, and this H together with same binary operation whatever G is having. Suppose if G is having addition, then H with respect to addition is called subgroup of G if it satisfies again all the 4 properties. But with respect to the same binary operation whatever the G having. Okay. If H is a subset of G, okay, then H is called subgroup of G if this H satisfy all the 4 properties with respect to the same binary operation whatever the G is having. Then we can call H is the subgroup of G. And you studied some standard theorem depend on this subgroup, group, or cyclic group. I think subgroup, group, cyclic group, coset, these things you are studied. Okay. Now we will see in the group theory, we will see normal subgroup. What is meant by normal subgroup? Homomorphism and isomorphism of a group. Okay. And yeah, normal subgroup, homomorphism, isomorphism, kernel of a group. We will study these things. And if you see this unit is little bit theoretical because all are theorems only. Okay. So we will go one by one. First we will see what is the definition of normal subgroup. Suppose if H is a subgroup of G. Now I have said when we say H is a subgroup of G. Now suppose if H is a subgroup of G, then H is called normal subgroup of G. H is called normal subgroup of G if it satisfies the condition X into H is equal to H into X, and this is for all X belongs to H. X into H is equal to H into X, and this is for all X belongs to H. Okay, and it is denoted by H is a normal subgroup of G is denoted by H triangle G. Okay, so this is called H is the normal subgroup of G. And when we say H is a normal subgroup of G, if it satisfies this condition, X into H is equal to H into X for all X belongs to H. Now we know that what is X into H. These are the represent the cosets, left coset, right coset. Okay, so if all the left coset and right cosets are equal for every element belongs to the given set or given group H, then we can say H is the normal subgroup. And you know how to find the cosets. You studied this in the group theory, I think 2. X into H is equal to H into X. Left coset, right coset. Generally we denote X into H. This is, I think, all X belongs to, not H. This should be all X belongs to G. Sorry. X belongs to G. For every element belongs to G. If X into H is equal to H into X, then we can say H is a normal subgroup. Now how we will represent X into H? It is all left coset X into small h such that H should be the element of H. H should be the element of H. Okay. Similarly, this is the right coset and it is given by H into X such that again all H belongs to H. Okay. So this is the left coset, right coset. Suppose if all the left cosets and right cosets are equal, then we can say H is the normal subgroup of G. That is the definition. Only remember this condition. This is very important condition because using this condition we have to prove some theorem. Okay, so please remember when we say H is a normal subgroup of G, if X into H is equal to H into X. Okay. Now we are having the theorem. They ask this theorem in the exams. These all are the important theorems. Prove that any this unit group theory is very small and all theorems are there, and I will tell you what are the important theorem. Please prepare this unit because for the exam purpose it is easy. If you see, it is easy. If you know the theorem or proof of this theorem, you can write that one. Okay. If you compare the differential, there are the problems, though we can't say which problem they can ask. So first you have to know how to find the solution, how to find complementary, how to find particular integral. Okay. So it's better if you study this theoretical unit because it is not lengthy also. So let us see one by one theorem. Prove that any subgroup of a group G, prove that any subgroup of a group, any subgroup H of a group G is normal if and only if X inverse is equal to capital H. X inverse is equal to capital H for all X belongs to G. This is the theorem for 5 marks. Prove that any subgroup H of a group G is normal if and only if X inverse is equal to H. And this is for all X belongs to G. Now, we know that if the condition is like if and only if, means we have to prove 2 parts. Means, what is the first part you will get? G is the normal, then this condition is true. In the converse part, by taking this condition is true, we have to prove G is the normal. Okay, because here if and only if condition is there. Now, we know that the definition of normal is subgroup. Using that condition, we will try to prove this one. Okay, so let us see the first part. H is the, what is the first part? Let us assume H is the normal subgroup of G. Then we will prove this condition. Okay. Now suppose if H is a normal subgroup of G, then by definition, what we have to write? X into H is equal to H into X, and this is for all X belongs to G. Okay, this is the condition of a normal subgroup. Now I will multiply X inverse on both sides. So what we will get? X inverse is equal to H into X inverse. Multiply X inverse on both sides. So this is nothing but X inverse is equal to H into, if you know definition of group, if you are having A into A inverse, okay, and here G is already group. Here what they said G is already group. If it is group means it should satisfy the condition. So it is satisfy this inverse condition also. So for every element A belongs to G, A star A inverse should be equal to what? Identity element. Okay. So here x is belongs to G. So I will write x into x inverse is also identity element by using the definition or law of identity. Now x h x inverse, and you know that identity element into any set or any element, you will get that set itself or that element itself. Identity means, you know the identity law, A star E is always equal to A. Then E is called identity element. Here E is already identity element, G is the group. Then this condition is true. So using this we will write H into E is equal to H. That is the give whatever we want, that result, x h x inverse is equal to H. So this is the first part. Now converse part. Now we will prove the converse part by assuming this is true. X h x inverse is equal to H. We will prove G is the normal. Now to prove we will prove H is the normal. To prove H is normal, it is enough if you prove this definition. Okay. So what we are having, x h x inverse is equal to H. Now I will multiply x on both sides now. So what we will get, x h x inverse into x is equal to H into x. Multiply x on both sides. So x h, now I have said x inverse x, again it is nothing but identity element. This is equal to H into x. Next, identity element into H is again you will get H itself. So xh is equal to hx, and this is for all x belongs to G. And this is the condition for what? Normal subgroup. Now see, if it satisfies this condition, that means H is the normal subgroup. Okay. So we proved both the part. So this is the first, assuming H is the normal, we proved this result. And in the converse part, assuming this result is true, we proved H is the normal subgroup. Okay. This is not difficult. In the first part only multiply x inverse on both sides and this right side. And here we will multiply x on both sides, you will get the result. Okay. So this is one theorem. We are having next one. Similar theorem, same type of theorem. Okay. Prove that any subgroup H of a group G, any subgroup H of a group G is normal, again is normal if and only if, again if and only if condition is there, x small h x inverse belongs to H. See, in earlier we are having x capital H x inverse is equal to H, but here x h x inverse belongs to H, where x is belongs to G and small h is belongs to capital H. Okay. So again if and only if condition is there. So using first H is the normal subgroup, we will try to prove this, and in the converse part, assuming this result, we will try to prove H is the normal subgroup. So what is first? Let us take H is the normal subgroup. If H is the normal subgroup, then this condition is true. X into H is equal to H into X. Now I will multiply x inverse on both sides. What we will get? X h x inverse, first part is same. Okay. Whatever we proved in the last theorem, we will prove same. X into x inverse. So what we will get? X h x inverse is equal to h into x inverse is identity element, and identity element into this is again you will get H. Okay. Let us call this as equation number 1. Now what is given? H belongs to H. This is given. Multiply x and x inverse on both sides. So what we will get? X h x inverse belongs to x h x inverse. I will multiply x and x inverse on both sides for this. So x h x inverse belongs to x h x inverse. But from equation 1, the value of this x h x inverse is nothing but capital H. So what we will get? X h x inverse belongs to capital H. That is the first part. Okay. What we have taken? H is the normal subgroup. By taking that, you will get x into H is equal to H into x. Multiply x inverse on both sides. You will get x h x inverse is equal to what? H into x inverse. But x into x inverse is identity element, and identity element into H you will get this. Call this as equation number 1. Now take H belongs to H by using this. Multiply x and x inverse on both sides, you will get this equation. But this is using equation 1, this is value of this is nothing but capital H, because here we are having equal sign. So that implies x h x inverse belongs to H. That is the first part. In the second part, let us take x h x inverse belongs to H. Now we H is the normal subgroup. Okay. Now multiply X on both sides. What we will get? X inverse into X belongs to H into X. Suppose if you are multiplying in this side X on right side of this, then again in this side also we have to multiply that X, again right side on this H. Okay. If you are multiplying left, then we will multiply left. What we will get? This is nothing but X into X inverse is again identity into this, we will get the same element. This belongs to H into X. But we know that X into capital H is or see here H, this small h is belongs to the capital H. Okay, small h is belongs to the capital H. That implies X into H is the subset of H into X. Suppose for every H belongs to capital H, if this XH is belongs to this left coset, then right coset, then we will write this left coset is the subset of right coset. Call this as equation number 2. Next, again we will take the same term X, because to prove X into H is equal to H into X, suppose if we are proving X into H is the subset of H into X and capital H into X is the subset of X into H, means we both are subset of each other, that nothing but they are equal. So we proved one part. Now similarly we will try to prove the second part. So what we are taking X into X inverse is the subset belongs to H, again by taking this definition. Now we will replace X by X inverse. What we will get? X by X inverse means you will get this is X inverse H. See, we are replacing X by X inverse. So what we will get? X inverse of inverse. Because X is nothing but X inverse and again this inverse. So this is belongs to H. But we know that X inverse of inverse is nothing but again H. You studied all these basic things in the group theory 1 and 2. Inverse of inverse is nothing but that element itself. It belongs to H. Now I will multiply X on both sides. So X into X inverse, HX belongs to X into H. X into X inverse is again identity element. Identity element into this is nothing but this element itself. So H into X is equal to, belongs to X into H. So again every element H from the capital H. So what you will get? H into X is the subset of this all left cosets. So now see, all the right cosets are all the left cosets are subset of right, and again right also subset of left. That implies from equation 2 and 3, that implies X into H is equal to H into X. Okay, and this is the condition for normal subgroup. That implies H is the normal subgroup, and this is very important theorem for 5 marks. They ask this theorem for 5 marks. Okay, so please go through this condition. Now we will see our remaining theorems in the next class.